All tumors that you can see on top of the dog's skin are actually tethered somewhere to a blood source. That's their food, and of which they can live. And what happens is when they're on the protocol, and it happens rather quickly, usually within a few days, the protocol will sever the location where it's tethered to the blood source. And when that happens, the tumor can actually float upwards. And that's why you're going to see an increase in size. And then many times there are additional tumors that are underneath that you can't even see, and when they're smaller, and when they get severed, you'll also see them float up. That's why sometimes people say they see more tumors after they've been on the protocol for a few days. But that's good, because once it's severed, it's just like hair. If it's severed, it's not attached to the blood source, it cannot just go down and reattach. It's done. Now when you have your tumor that's basically a floater, it's underneath the skin, the body has to try to dissolve it. The body wants to get rid of it because now it's dead cancer cells, so it wants to, get rid of it somehow. What it will do many times is actually encapsulate it. It may be already encapsulated, much like this balloon is, and the cancer's inside, in which case some of those will remain under the dog's skin. If they're small enough, they won't bother the dog, and they're not living anymore, and they'll get somewhat squishy after a while, just like this balloon is. Now if it's a fluid-based tumor, it's very good because it will rupture and the fluid will drain out, and those are easier to dissolve and get rid of. Sometimes the body will actually have it rupture outward and drain, which is okay, and you may see a little blood seepage or a little bit of fluid seepage, but it's the same thing that you would see if you skinned your knee and you have a scab on it and it falls off, and then you're going to see a little bit more blood, but it's going to stop and then go away and heal. And the important thing is that the cancer no longer can be active in that dog, so you don't want to pierce this. This is a dense matter tumor that has been severed from the blood source. You'll notice that it has some black on it, and I did that on purpose. I let this piece go bag so you could see that when cancer dies, it turns black. And if this is a tumor that's on the outside of the skin, you can see that it's hard, and the body's going to have to try to break this up. So what it's going to do is have pieces of it come off. The dead parts will come off first, and it might be in the form of scabs, and it might bleed a little bit or seep a little fluid, and it's going to keep doing it and wearing away at it until eventually the entire tumor is gone. And then it may turn or change shape, because you can see as the body breaks it away. Now this is what happens to tumors under the skin and how they dissipate and the body gets rid of the cancer. This is a fluid-based tumor that has perhaps opened up internally, and this is a dense matter tumor. And what happens is when the body is cleansing it out, you can see that it's much easier to get rid of the fluid-based tumor. The dense matter tumor will dissipate also, but it's going to take a lot longer. So don't be alarmed if the progress is a little slower when they're under the skin and they're dense matter based. This is hard. I mean, if we let this run on this cheese, probably if we let it run overnight, probably most of it will be gone. And but it's just going to be slower to dissipate.